I was the heir apparent to the celestial dynasty, born with the world at my feet, yet I was fool enough to fall for my personal assistant, Elena Cross. I refused a strategic marriage alliance with Victoria Drake of the Draconis families. To marry Elena, I was willing to abdicate my title. I never expected that once my younger brother, Adrian, seized the throne, Elena would betray me, confessing that the one she truly loved was him. They poisoned me, drove 81 neurospikes in my body, tortured me mercilessly, and threw me from the execution spire, shattering my soul. But when I opened my eyes, I made a different choice. I chose the Dragon Princess, Victoria Drake. Elena and Adrian panicked. Julian, are you truly going to reject the alliance with the Draconis princess to marry a lowly assistant? My father's furious voice thundered through the grand hall. I shuddered, my eyes snapping open. I had been reborn. I was back to the day I had stood before the assembly of the gods, demanding my father bless my union with Elena. I turned my head, locking eyes with Elena, who looked at me with shy expectation. Suppressing the murderous rage in my gut, I spoke with absolute clarity. Father, I will not marry her. The declaration stunned the assembly. Elena looked utterly incredulous. Julian, think this through. This is your one chance to marry a catch like me. If you miss this, no matter how much you beg later, I won't say yes. She crossed her arms and puffed out her cheeks, arrogant and entitled. I had spoiled her. As the crown prince, I had been blind, treating this servant like a treasure, obeying her every whim. I had lived like a lapdog, fueling her narcissism and insolence. Silence, I roared. The shout sent a tremor through every dignitary in the hall. Elena Cross, you are merely an assistant. Is this the attitude you take with the heir? Elena didn't back down. She got angry. Why are you yelling? You scared me. I'm telling you, if you keep this up, I'm really going to ignore you. I signaled the security detail. Guards, Elena Cross is insubordinate and has violated protocol. Take her and administer 100 lashes with a disciplinary baton. 2 armored sentinels stepped forward, twisting Elena's arms behind her back. She was stunned for a moment, unable to believe it. Julian, are you serious? My face was stone cold. She dares to address the heir by name. Add another 100 lashes. Elena was dragged away and forced onto the punishment bench. No, wait, Julian, there's a limit to your jokes. I'm warning you guys, I'm a woman Julian loves most. He's pranking me. If you actually hurt me, he'll skin you alive. She glared viciously at the guards. The sentinels hesitated, holding their batons aloft, looking back at me for confirmation. It was my fault. It was all my fault. My regret was bottomless. The entire realm knew how I doted on her. I couldn't bear for her to suffer a scratch. Last month, a maid slipped and spilled tea on Elena's shoe. I had the girl flogged and thrown in the dungeon, where she remained to this day. Elena huffed triumphantly and started to stand up. The assembly shook their heads, disappointment etched on their faces. They whispered that I knew no propriety, that I was unfit to rule, a puppet controlled by a servant. But then I strode forward, roughly shoved Elena back onto the bench, snatched the baton from the guard, and brought it down hard. Crack! Ah! Elena's scream pierced the clouds, cold sweat instantly beading on her forehead. I handed the baton back to the guard. Strike with that intensity. If anyone goes light on her, I'll hold you personally responsible. Yes, sir. The guards nodded and began the beating. Suddenly, a middle-aged man threw himself forward. Julian, no, your highness, let's talk this out. Are you and Elena having a lover spat? It's normal for couples to fight. Don't resort to violence. It was Elena's father, Frank Cross. Originally a low-level janitor in the realm with pathetic cultivation, he relied on my affection for his daughter to loaf around, steal enhancement elixirs, disrespect his superiors, and bully other staff. Whenever Elena whined or cajoled me, I would lose my mind and clean up his messes. The court was already dissatisfied with me, petitioning father to strip my title. But father favored me, hesitating. This alliance with the Draconis family was his last lifeline to me. Thinking back, I had been brain damaged, giving up an empire for love, simping until my soul was destroyed. My face remained tight. Anyone who pleads for her gets beaten alongside her. Frank shut his mouth instantly, looking at me with unfamiliar eyes, unable to grasp why I had suddenly become a different person. I walked back to the dais, ignoring Elena's screams of pain and pleas for mercy. Adrian stepped up. Brother, Elena is your personal assistant after all. She has served you diligently. Isn't this too cruel? I glanced at him coldly. What? Does my little brother enjoy servants calling him by his first name? Do you condone insubordination? No, I mean, you like her. Aren't you afraid she'll hate you forever if you treat the woman you love this way? Starting now, I don't like Elena Cross. Since you're protecting her so fiercely, do you like her? If so, I can gift her to you. Adrian panicked slightly. I have no romantic interest in Elena. Brother, do not misunderstand. I bowed to my father. Father, prioritizing the peace of the three realms, I am willing to take Victoria Drake of the Draconis families as my wife. Tomorrow, no, right now. I will go to present the engagement gifts. Good, good, good. Father was overjoyed. Now, that is behaving like a true leader. I have already prepared the gifts. Go at once. Yes, father. Turning around, I caught the flash of anxiety hidden in Adrian's eyes. My dear brother, the show is just beginning. The Draconis families, the strongest beings on the surface, possessed power that rivaled the celestial dynasty. To prevent their ambition from turning into rebellion, father had conceived this marriage to cement relations. If Victoria and I produced an heir with Draconis blood, and that child became emperor, the Draconis ambition would be realized without war. In the great hall of the Dragon King, the patriarch's attitude was frosty. I heard the crown prince already has a lover, a mere servant. If we marry our treasured daughter to you, will she be mistreated? I looked sincere. Before, I was immature and didn't understand true partnership. I allowed a servant to exploit my kindness, leaving a shameful mark on my past. I have severed all ties with Elena Cross. I seek only to be a wise ruler, prioritizing the alliance between our people and the welfare of the world. If the king is willing to give me the princess, I will devote myself to her and never fail her. If I break this oath, may the heavens strike me down. The Dragon King hadn't expected a blood oath. He nodded, satisfied, and summoned his daughter. A woman in a blue celestial gown walked out from behind the curtain, her features exquisite, skin like porcelain. A pair of blue dragon horns adorned her forehead, blending dominance with a hint of charm. This was Victoria Drake. She was infinitely more beautiful than Elena, elegant and noble. Looking at her, tears welled in my eyes. In my past life, after Adrian took the throne, he arrogantly declared war on the Draconis. Victoria, as a general, killed Adrian and Elena to avenge me. She had wept over my jade pendant. Julian, in your next life, open your eyes. Don't love the wrong person. I had once saved her during a mortal realm trial and gave her that pendant. She had viewed me as her unrequited love, her savior. Greetings, your highness. Victoria Kurtsiev Belaitli. When she looked up, her beautiful eyes sparkled like stars. I took her hand. I'm sorry. Victoria was confused. Nothing. I smiled. Princess, you may come to the Celestial Citadel for a month. If after that time you find me lacking or unworthy, you may leave and annul the engagement. Victoria was pleasantly surprised and nodded. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the Citadel, Elena lay on her bed, unable to move, her face twisted in agony. Adrian paced the room, scolding her. It's all your fault. You got arrogant and didn't know when to stop. If he had just insisted on marrying you today and rejected the Draconis, father would have stripped his title in a rage and named me heir. You ruined everything. Elena was aggrieved and confused. I didn't know it would turn out like this. He was fine before, then suddenly he changed. He hates me to the bone. Adrian threw a vial of medicine at her. Heal up, then use every ounce of that helpless, feminine charm to serve him. You must win him back. Otherwise, don't expect to see me ever again. I showed Victoria around the Celestial Citadel. When we got tired, we sat in the garden. Just as I was about to order snacks, Elena approached, carrying my favorite pastries. She knelt. Your Highness, Elena was wrong before. I damaged your dignity. I apologize. Well, the beating made her obedient, but for someone as toxic as her, it was likely an act. I spoke coldly. Leave, go to the personnel department, and get reassigned. From now on, you are forbidden from appearing in my presence. I didn't want to kill Elena yet. I wanted her to suffer before she died. Elena looked up sharply, eyes glistening with tears. Your Highness, what exactly did I do wrong for you to be so heartless? You did nothing wrong. I'm just changing staff. Do you have a problem with that? Who do you think you are? Your Highness, Elena promises never to be insubordinate again, never to call you by name, never to throw tantrums. I beg your forgiveness. Please don't send me away. Elena cried, kneeling and crawling forward to tug at my robes, trying to feign vulnerability to trigger my pity. In the past, I couldn't bear to see her shed a single tear. When she cried, She was breathtakingly fragile, making it seem like the world itself was at fault. Elena was indeed beautiful, standing out even in the celestial realm. Otherwise, I wouldn't have fallen for her in my previous life. But this beauty was manipulative and venomous. I issued a direct order. Guards, drag her away. Elena hadn't expected me to remain completely unmoved by her tears. Panicked, she cried out, "Is your highness forced to cut ties with me for the sake of peace with the Draconis?" She turned and knelt before Victoria. "Princess, the prince and I are in love. I hope you could be generous. I am willing to be a mistress and serve you as a sister for life." Victoria looked troubled. I put my arm around her shoulders and pulled her back. "Mistress? What mistress? I believe in one partner for a lifetime. After marrying Victoria, I will take no other." Elena couldn't believe what she was hearing, intense jealousy flashing in her eyes. In a last life, I loved her and she despised it, eventually killing me. In this life, I loved another, and she was bitter. Elena broke down, face wet with tears. "Your Highness, you're lying, right? You clearly love me the most. Was all your love fake? You, the high and mighty crown prince, toyed with a servant's feelings? Just because our status is low, you can play with us? If word gets out, how will the realm view you?" Huh, she was actually threatening me. I spoke openly. "Elena, I never toyed with your feelings. I truly loved you. But you grew arrogant on my favor, disrespecting the court. And you talk of low status? Do you remember how you bullied the staff? If the food wasn't to your taste, you docked the chef's pay. If your clothes didn't fit perfectly, you slapped the seamstress. You acted like a spoiled queen. When father ordered the marriage, what advice did you give me? You told me to threaten suicide to get out of it. Would anyone with a conscience suggest such a thing?" As I finished, the surrounding maids and guards pointed at Elena with disgust. Drowning in their scorn, Elena, humiliated but thick-skinned, crawled forward to grab my clothes again. "Your Highness, I know I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please give me a chance to change. Guards, take her away." Elena pretended to faint, gambling on whether I would care. I didn't give a damn. I put my arm around Victoria and went to eat. Victoria watched me the whole way, eyes full of emotion, a happy smile on her face. Elena, her father, and Adrian were spinning in circles, realizing I truly had fallen out of love. Heartless bastard. Elena gripped the hairpin I had once given her and snapped it in two. Adrian schemed. Why not force the issue? Trap him in bed. Force him to marry you and ruin his relationship with Victoria. Adrian had another calculation in mind. While Elena entangled me, he would move in on Victoria. If he could make Victoria fall for him, the alliance would shift to him, and he could secure the throne. He didn't tell Elena this part, fearing her jealousy would ruin the plan. That evening, I was bathing. Elena entered my room dressed seductively, wearing a veil as if I wouldn't recognize her. "Speak. What do you want?" I asked, my voice void of emotion. "Your Highness, these days without you have been agony. Is there truly no chance for us?" Elena removed her veil, weeping heartbrokenly. I was firm. "No chance." Elena sobbed for a while, then pleaded softly. "Could your Highness drink a farewell cup with me? Drink this, and Elena will never bother you again." I curled my lip and drank the wine, which was undoubtedly spiked. Sure enough, seconds later, I felt dizzy, my body burning. Just as Elena thought she had succeeded, a squad of guards burst in. They administered a universal antidote I kept on me at all times. Reborn, and knowing Adrian and Elena wanted me dead. How could I not be prepared? "Elena Cross, you have some nerve, daring to poison me." I dressed leisurely, glancing at Elena, who was pinned to the floor. "Your Highness, I did it because I love you too much. I was confused. Please, mercy." I squatted down, looking her in the eye. "Are you sure the person you love is me?" Guilt and panic flashed in her eyes before she steeled herself. "Your Highness, Elena truly loves you. I would walk through fire for you." Walk through fire? Tonight, I'd give her all the heat she could handle. The next morning, Adrian orchestrated a chance encounter with Victoria, introducing himself. As my brother, Adrian was handsome, and his public persona was gentle and benevolent. If I hadn't lived through the past, I wouldn't have known it was all a mask for a Blackheart. He had coveted the throne, plotting every step, sending Elena to destroy me. If he could make Elena walk through fire for him, he clearly had a way with women. Knowing Victoria loved butterflies, he arranged to meet her on the path to my quarters, planting a wet butterfly by the flower bed. He rushed over, gently placing the butterfly in his palm, healing it with magic, and releasing it. As it flew, a swarm of butterflies followed, dancing in the air, a beautiful spectacle. Victoria was touched. Adrian smiled at her. I've always loved butterflies, watching them fly free. It's a regret that I must admire such beauty alone. I wonder when I'll find a fair lady to watch them with me. Victoria replied, I love butterflies too. Julian is building a butterfly valley for me. When it's finished, you can come watch with us. As for a fair lady, we have many beautiful immortals in the Dragon Palace. I can introduce you to some. Adrian choked, then probed. It seems the princess is very fond of my big brother. Yes. Victoria nodded, blushing. I will love Julian for this life and the next. I live for him, and I would die for him. Adrian, seeing how deeply she loved me, turned sour with jealousy. He thought, let's see if you can still love him in a moment. Adrian not only brought Victoria, but also arranged for father to come check on me. It's so late. Why isn't brother up yet? Adrian pushed open the door, leading father and Victoria into my room. They, along with father's entourage, saw clothes scattered on the floor. Through the sheer curtains of the bed, two figures lay sleeping, a man and a woman. Adrian feigned shock, turning to look at Victoria. Victoria's face went pale. Father was furious, his shaking finger pointing at the bed. Julian, you. I walked in from the outer room. Father, Adrian, Victoria, what are you doing here? Adrian's eyes went wide. Brother, how are you? Over there. I stared him down. I fell asleep reading in the study last night. Where else would I be? He dodged my burning gaze. I looked at the situation in the bedroom and feigned instant rage. How dare they? Who is engaging in indecent acts in my chambers? The couple in the bed woke up. Elena screamed, rolling off the mattress. Seeing us all there, she was consumed by anger, anxiety, and shame, banging her head on the floor begging for mercy. The man was a kitchen porter. He explained, I came to deliver a late-night snack to His Highness, but as soon as I entered, someone knocked me out. I groggily heard someone whispering, Your Highness, don't blame me. I just want to be with you. Father's eyebrows shot up in rage. Elena cross, and nobody like you trying to climb into the prince's bed? Guards, throw her in the dungeon. Execution at dawn. Emperor, I am innocent. The prince framed me. He was worried I was an eyesore to Princess Victoria. So he used this dirty trick to get rid of me. Elena screamed. Julian, you soulless monster, you have me defiled. Princess Victoria, Julian is an ungrateful villain. He abandons true love at the drop of a hat. Today he discards me for something new. Tomorrow he'll discard you when he finds someone better. Open your eyes. Seeing no way out, Elena tried to drag me down with her, sowing discord. Father glared at me. Look at what you attracted. Manipulative, vicious, and toxic. I lower my head. Father, stop scolding. I know I was wrong. Father huffed and marched out. Adrian frowned. Brother, you used to like Elena so much. Everyone saw it. Isn't execution too cruel? I retorted, Brother, her slander just now is enough to warrant executing her entire bloodline. Why are you defending her? That's not what I mean. Look, Princess Victoria is here. You two were lovers once. Why must it end in death? And she didn't actually touch you. Why not banish her to the mortal realm for old time's sake? Adrian was trying to get Victoria to persuade me. But Victoria spoke up. I respect the prince's decision. She showed 100% trust in me. Adrian was dumbfounded. Elena's attempt to drive a wedge between us had failed completely. Brother, since you care so much about Elena, go plead with father yourself. Victoria and I are going to breakfast. Casting a gloating look at him, I led Victoria away. Adrian stood there, fists clenched, grinding his teeth in rage. I asked Victoria why she trusted me so implicitly. She replied, because I never saw how much Elena loved you. A person who truly loves you wouldn't harass you and put you in difficult positions. She feels exactly as your father described, calculating and relentless. I smiled, feeling ashamed. Perhaps love had rotted my brain in the last life. I never questioned if she truly loved me. I just operated on the idiot logic of who cares if she loves me? I love her. I only wanted to give her a happy life. In return, I got betrayal. So no one could blame me for being cold-blooded now. That afternoon, I parted with Victoria and returned to my palace. On the way, Elena's father, Frank, dropped to his knees, begging for his daughter's life. I kicked him aside and had the guards drag him off. Then, loudly enough for him to hear, I asked my attendant, are the essence pills that allow commoners to ascend to godhood ready yet? Hearing this, Frank inevitably snuck back to steal the pills and was caught red-handed. The court had long despised him, and people finally stepped forward to testify. He didn't just steal elixirs, he harassed the celestial maidens. Before I protected him, so victims stayed silent. Now, seeing his fall from grace, they all demanded justice. Father was furious and ordered his immediate public execution, his soul to be scattered, never to reincarnate. I had the man's head boxed and delivered to Elena in the dungeon. When she opened the box, she let out a gut-wrenching scream. Rage and grief made her eyes bloodshot as she roared at me. "Julian, why are you doing this to me? Why don't you love me anymore?" I sneered. "Why should I love a woman who holds another man in her heart?" Elena froze. You know. Yes. I spun the engagement ring on my finger, a symbol of my loyalty to Victoria. "You're about to lose your life for him. Yet where is he? Is he trying to save you?" Elena looked panicked and uncertain. After a moment's thought, she laughed maniacally. "Julian, Adrian is better than you. He's stronger. He will definitely come to save me." "Oh, we'll see." Tragically, Elena waited and waited in her cell. When the execution hour arrived the next day, Adrian didn't come to save her. He stood at the back of the crowd, expressionless. "Ha ha ha," Elena snappled. She laughed at the sky, screaming curses. "Adrian, you heartless bastard. I endured humiliation and used every dirty trick for you, and you hide back there like a coward." Schluck. Before she could finish, the blade fell. Elena's head rolled, her eyes wide in death, her soul shattered. Everyone looked at Adrian. He panicked for a microsecond before composing himself. "Don't listen to her ravings. She was my brother's servant. I had no dealings with her. She clearly wanted to slander the royal family before she died, to sow chaos. Because Adrian's persona was so gentle and clean, and no one had seen him alone with Elena, everyone believed him. 1 month later, Victoria and I were married. The Dragon King brought the Draconis clan to the celestial realm for the wedding banquet. The celebration lasted 3 days and nights. By the third night, everyone was exhausted, passing out in their rooms or where they stood. But the next morning, the Dragon Prince, Victoria's brother, was found murdered along with a dozen other dragons. The Dragon King was apoplectic. He summoned every dragon and sea soldier to the celestial realm, demanding an explanation from the Emperor. If not, the Draconis would annihilate the celestial realm, dragging everyone to hell. War was imminent. Father, faced with this sudden catastrophe, went pale. He tried to soothe the Dragon King. "In law, there must be a misunderstanding. I will investigate immediately and hand over the culprit." He barked orders. "Someone find out who killed the Dragon Prince last night." No need to search. 2 crab soldiers carried in a heavily wounded dragon who had survived. It was the Dragon King's brother, Victoria's uncle. He pointed a trembling finger at me. It was the Crown Prince. I was stunned. The gods were shocked. Father looked disbelieving. Victoria, weeping over her brother's body, froze. "Uncle, are you mistaken? Julian was with me all night." Her uncle countered. "Niece, were you awake the entire night?" Victoria couldn't answer. She had slept deeply. The Dragon King, maddened by the death of his son, glared at me with blood-red eyes. "Julian, I gave you my daughter in good faith, and this is how you repay us." I was afraid he'd charge, so I tried to de-escalate. "Father-in-law, I know you are grieving and angry, but please calm down. The truth matters most. I have no motive to kill the prince." "Why would I?" The uncle roared. "Because you Celestials look down on us Draconis. Last night, when you killed me, you were full of scorn, saying we were base creatures who should submit to you. You said you were harvesting our hearts and gall to refine dragon soul pills to boost your power." Hearing this, the Dragon King ordered the bodies examined. The hearts and galls were indeed missing. "Julian, you." The Dragon King drew his sword, thrusting it at me. As I prepared to block, Victoria spread her arms in front of me. The blade stopped at her throat. "Father, I believe Julian. It wasn't him." The king exploded. "Ungrateful daughter. That is your brother. The investigation hasn't even started, and you're condemning him. It's too reckless." The uncle interjected. "Victoria, are you saying I'm lying? I met Julian once. I have no grudge against him. Why would I frame him?" "Uncle, most gods know shape-shifting magic. Couldn't someone have taken Julian's form to frame him?" "But have you considered," the uncle pressed, "that your brother and I are powerful warriors? No ordinary god could kill us easily. In the entire realm, who has that kind of power besides Julian?" Victoria couldn't refute this. She was frantic. All evidence pointed to me. Even the other gods were beginning to suspect me. I spotted Adrian in the crowd, a playful, mocking look in his eyes as he watched the drama. "No, I believe in Julian. I beg you, father, give us time to find the truth." Victoria pleaded through tears. I looked at her back, moved. To have such a wife, I could die without regret. The Dragon King helplessly lowered his sword and ordered a search of my palace. Moments later, soldiers returned carrying bloody dragon hearts and galls. We found these in the prince's study. This? How is this possible? The Dragon King roared. Julian, what do you have to say now? Adrian stepped out from the crowd, looking deeply disappointed. Brother, how could you do something so heinous? He turned to father. Father, the evidence is irrefutable. Julian has lost all honor and is unfit to rule. I request he be stripped of his title and handed over to the Draconis to maintain the peace. Led by him, other gods chimed in. For the greater good, please depose the prince. Father frowned in agony. I looked at Adrian. Adrian, you've been waiting for this day, haven't you? Adrian looked innocent. Brother, I don't know what you mean. I glanced at the assembly. Why the panic? Perhaps these were planted to frame me. Then produce evidence, Adrian said. The realm possesses the Chronos Mirror, an ancient artifact that can view the past. Who killed the Dragon Prince? One look will tell us. Adrian smiled. Julian, I advise you to confess. Don't make your death ugly. I scoffed. What? Are you nervous? Afraid to look? I'm giving you a way out. I don't need it. Soon, the Chronos Mirror was brought in. Viewing the past required immense power, and few could activate it. Several elder gods channeled their energy, and the mirror flickered to life. It showed the previous night, a figure in black infiltrating the guest quarters, slaughtering the sleeping dragons. The Dragon Prince woke to stop him, but was no match, killed in moves. The Dragon King's fists shook with rage. Finally, the figure encountered the uncle. During the fight, the uncle tore off the assassin's mask. A face identical to mine appeared. The crowd gasped. Victoria and I were stunned. Julian, I'll kill you. The Dragon King lost all reason, lunging with his sword. I frantically pushed Victoria aside and grabbed the naked blade with my bare hand. Pain seared through my palm as blood dripped down. I shouted desperately, I know who it is. Adrian. It was Adrian disguised as me who killed the Dragon Prince. Adrian put on a face of pure ridicule. Brother, everyone in the realm knows I've been a scholar since childhood. I don't train in combat. I couldn't even beat a mid-level guard. Can your accusations be grounded in reality? Please? Stop imagining things. The gods agreed. Yes, the second prince has always been gentle. We rarely see him touch a weapon. This is truly unjust for the second prince. The evidence is right there, yet he's still being slandered. Enough. Father slammed his hand on the table, looking at me with profound disappointment and fury. Julian, I spoiled you since you were a child. I favored you, groomed you, hoping you would become the ruler of the three realms and protect peace. I never expected you to be so two-faced. First, ignoring your status to fall for a servant, indulging her and her father until the court was in chaos. And now, for some power-boosting pills, you commit mass murder during your own wedding, destroying the peace with the Draconis. You deserve death. You deserve death. Father turned to the Dragon King. Raising such a son is my failure. From this day forth, Julian is no longer the crown prince. I hand him over to you to do with as you please. Wait, I shouted. I have evidence that proves Adrian framed me. Still lying at death's door, Adrian clasped his hands behind his back. Then prove it. He was getting cocky. I looked at the Dragon King. If I cannot prove it, kill me or torture me, I will accept it. The Dragon King sheathed his sword, giving me one last chance. I walked up to Adrian and plucked a tiny object smaller than a pinky fingernail from his collar. I placed it on my fingertip for everyone to see. This is a Draconis echo shell. It records any sound it hears and stores it permanently. Adrian's face drained of color. He reached out to snatch it. I dodged swiftly and handed the shell to Victoria, asking her to play the recording. With a touch of her magic, the shell projected the audio clearly. Elena, you are the woman I love most in this life. Just help me destroy Julian and help me become crown prince, and I will make you my princess. Here is the drug. Tomorrow night, go to Julian. Force the issue. He loved you once. He'll take responsibility. Useless woman. Even in death, she tried to out me. Good thing I'm quick-witted and talk my way out of suspicion. Julian, don't get comfortable. After tonight, I'll show you what hell looks like. Then came the recording of Adrian mimicking my voice, speaking to the Dragon Uncle. Dragon Uncle. Julian, is that you? Adrian. As me, yes, it's me. You Draconis are base creatures who should submit to the Celestials. Why should you sit as equals with us? Today I will harvest your hearts and galls to refine the dragon's soul pills. When the pills are complete, your race will be extinct. After the sounds of fighting, Adrian fled. He switched back to his own voice. Humph. I'll leave one alive to identify Julian. Let's see how you wash this stain off, brother. Silence fell over the hall. The truth was out. I wiped the cold sweat from my brow. After my rebirth, I had assigned elite spies to track Adrian. But they reported he was too cautious, his counter-surveillance too strong. To avoid alerting him, I pulled them back. Later, I learned from Victoria that her people had these echo shells. I got a micro-sized one from her and planted it on Adrian's collar. Even if he changed clothes, the shell was designed to crawl to the new garment unnoticed. If not for this device, I would be dead. Adrian was pinned to the ground, his arms twisted behind him. He looked at me with murder in his eyes. When did you start suspecting me? I answered, from the day I agreed to the marriage. Did none of you notice I had changed? Adrian laughed maniacally. Suddenly, he exploded with energy, throwing off the guards and launching an attack at me. As we fought, he screamed, I was always the superior son, but father was biased. He only liked you. He never looked at me properly. Naming you heir, I don't accept it. I don't accept it. Father stood up, trembling with rage. Adrian, who said I only liked Julian? I tested you both once. I sent you to the mortal realm. Julian became a wandering monk, saving lives. You stayed in the royal palace, scheming and killing to become emperor. You failed the test of character. That is why I chose Julian. Adrian roared, what do you know? Only by standing at the peak with absolute power can you truly save the world. Father rebuked him. Your ideology is twisted. Adrian's combat prowess was shockingly on par with mine. He had hidden his strength deeply, training in secret for the throne. However, in the end, I defeated him. Not wanting to be taken by the Draconis for torture, Adrian incinerated his own soul, dying instantly. The gods sighed in collective shock. 1 year later, Victoria and I welcomed twins, a boy and a girl. Father and the Dragon King were ecstatic, fighting over who got to hold the babies. After the birth, Father passed the throne to me, content to retire and babysit. Victoria was crowned empress. Under our joint rule, the celestial realm and the Draconis lived in harmony, and the world flourished. Story complete.